Hey everyone, it's time for another Bona training camp video. And today we're going to go through the Bona Recoat System using Bona Remove. Again, Bona Remove is a product that's specifically formulated to help dissolve and break down and remove acrylic type polishes and maintenance coatings. So let's take a look at that process now using Bona Remove as part of the Bona Recoat System to remove contaminants and acrylic polishes from a floor and also fully prepare it for a nice new recoat. And just a couple things before we go to the demo. Recoats, when we talk about them, can be done on any polyurethane finished floor, but if it's an oiled floor or it's finished in some other way, like a waxed finish, that's not what the Bona Recoat System is used for, but it can be other site finished and or pre-finished floors as long as they have a polyurethane type coating on top. So some of the tools and stuff that we're going to need first are a Bona Power Scrubber with the red brushes, Bona Remove and Bona Deep Clean, which are also both GREENGUARD certified. Even though we're doing a pretty aggressive process with some chemicals, the indoor air quality that we're generating is not harmful for ourselves and or for our customers with these GREENGUARD certified products. You're also going to need a 175 RPM buffer like the Bona Flexi Sand, your Recoat abrasive brush, a Bona mop with the regular blue cleaning pads, some microfiber and or terry cloth rags, a paint tray, a 3/8 inch microfiber roller, some 120 grit Bona nets, and a hand sanding block, and a power scrub brush or a hand scrub brush, but we want to make sure that we've got abrasive bristles on those if possible. Although you could also just do the hand sanding with your hand block and the 120 grit nets, and probably a paintbrush to help get some product along the sides, edges, and detail areas that we might not be able to reach with everything else. Once we've got everything assembled and we've done our test area, we first want to fill our scrubber up with the deep clean solution at the regular 4:1 ratio, put a half gallon deep clean into the scrubber, fill the rest up with water to give us that 4:1 ratio. Then we want to vacuum that floor to get rid of any dirt, debris, grime, anything else that's on there. After that, we want to go ahead and mix our Bona Remove by shaking it vigorously for 15 to 20 seconds. Do we need to protect anything? Is there transition area onto carpet or onto tile, any of the baseboards or other trim work, stonework around the fireplace? You can always tape those off with painter's tape, or you can use drop-down plastic that's easy to put in place to help protect things like that. So we're when ready to start the Bona Remove process on our 200 square foot section. Actually, the first thing we want to do is hit the edges and the detail areas. So to do that, we're going to pour some Bona Remove out. We're going to take our brush and spread that out around the outside edges and detail areas. Then we're going to take our small hand sanding block with our 120 grit Bona net on it, and we're going to hand braid around the outside. And if needed, if your Bona net gets loaded up because we've got contaminants or acrylic polish on the floor, you can always go back and rinse your Bona net out with that open grid design. It makes it super convenient to go ahead and clean it out and put it back on and continue your hand abrasion around the outside. So when we've done the edges and the detail areas of our starting section, we're going to go ahead now and spread Bona Remove out with our roller at about 700 to 800 square feet per gallon with our 3/8 inch roller cover. That makes it pretty easy to get that coverage. But remember, we want Bona Remove to stay wet. So if you're working in an area that may be a little drafty or it's hot, you might consider working in a smaller area versus the 200 square feet so that Bona Remove stays wet and ensures that it can do its job and help you do yours when you come back to hit it with the abrasive brush. Once you've got Bona Remove spread out, we're going to take our Bona abrasive recoat brush on our buffer and hit that. And our abrasive brush is doing a couple things. One, it's working the Bona Remove further into the surface structure, helping it break up acrylic polishes, contaminants, and other things that might be on that floor. And again, it's also abrading that floor to make sure we've got a nice freshly abraded surface to ensure we're going to have the best adhesion on a recoat job. So when we're running our abrasive brush in our section, we're going to run it up and back in the same path. We're going to overlap about 50%. That just ensures that we're hitting all parts of our section and getting maximum abrasion and cleaning and chemical activity with polishes and any of the other contaminants in there. This is probably one of the most crucial steps in the job to make sure we're getting it as clean as possible before we put fresh finish over the top. Once you're done abrading it, you can move the buffer off. Now we can move the Bona power scrubber on. We're going back and forth in the same path. The power scrubber filled with deep clean. And this is removing all of the Bona Remove slurry and the polishes and contaminants that may be in that slurry. And also just removing any of the residue from that slurry, which may interfere with any of the new finish that we want to put down. Again, you may want to hand rag around the edges again from our previous section, just to make sure you got all the residue off there. We didn't leave any stray streaks or puddles that we missed with the power scrubber, and move on to the next section. Once we've done the whole floor, the whole house, whatever our game plan required, working it in sections like that, to ensure full removal of contaminants and that we've got a really clean floor, we're going to recommend that you repeat the whole Bona Recoat process a second time with the application of Bona Remove, the abrasion of it with your Bona abrasive brush, and the removal of that slurry with your Bona power scrubber and the red brushes. What you don't need to repeat a second time is the edge and detail work with the hand sanding, because you don't tend to have as much buildup of maintenance products and stuff in those areas. So just one time with the Bona Remove and your hand sanding with the 120 grit Bona nets should be sufficient, although you're always welcome to repeat that part of the process if you'd like. So once we've got the floor abraded, we've removed all that slurry with our power scrubber, we just want to make sure that it's thoroughly clean and that we've removed all those residues before we go ahead and put finish on top, because any of that type of residue could interfere with our finish going back over the top. So we're going to fully clean our power scrubber, meaning the brushes, squeegees, cord. We even want to clean the bottom of our shoes because we've probably been walking in the Bona Remove and that slurry. We want to re-wipe around the perimeter and trim or anywhere where you think you might have missed wiping up that slurry. Just give it a final wipe down. Then we're going to fill our Bona power scrubber again with Bona Deep Clean and do a final cleaning pass back and forth with our power scrubber just to clean that floor one more time. And after we've done that final cleaning, we just want to do one more wet tack. With our Bona mop, just dampened with water, tack that floor off, let everything dry, maybe even set some box fans up in the doorways to get some good airflow going across that floor, just to ensure you've got good drying conditions and any wet material that might be down in the seams or on the floor can fully evaporate before we go ahead and coat it. So once we've gone ahead and got the floor fully prepared, it's super ready for our new coats of finish. We're going to recommend that you apply 1 to 2 coats of any of the Bona Traffic HD family of finishes. The reason for using any of the Bona Traffic HD family of finishes is you're getting the absolute best adhesion properties with those products. So what you're going to get with the Bona Recoat System and Remove is a thorough, powerful, and very effective system for getting the best adhesion results possible. And that's key on 3 things. One is we need to remove all the contaminants from the floor, which is exactly what Bona Remove is formulated to do. 2, we want to get thorough and even abrasion, which we're also going to achieve by hitting the Bona Remove with our Bona abrasive brush. And the 3rd thing you need to do is put the absolute best finish that you can down to ensure great adhesion characteristics. And nothing beats the Bona Traffic HD family of finishes for great adhesion characteristics that we need for a successful recoat. So for the best results in all of your recoating projects, use the Bona Recoat System with Bona Remove, Bona Abrasive Brush, your Bona Power Scrubber, and your Bona Traffic HD family of finishes.